Hi, my name is Haneef Puttur. Today I would like to explore more about domain registrations. We all connected to the internet one or other ways. So I feel it's very much necessary for us to know about domain and what is the definition of domain, how to select a domain, how to register one, how to transfer a domain from one registrar to another registrar, how to sell a domain if you don't want, and also what are the points you should be noted when you're dealing with domains. First, let's understand what is a domain name. A domain name is an address where internet users can access your website. Or technically, a domain name is used for finding and identifying computers on the internet. This is the name, like www.google.com will bring you all those resources available in that website. So let's go through the structure of a domain. Usually domain will be like www.domainname.com. It has three parts. The first part is called third level domain, and the second part is called second level domain, and third part is called top level domain. Okay, let's start with the top level domain. There are many TLDs are available. For example, .com, .net, .org, .ae, .in, .news, .info. So based on your business requirements, you can select any of the top level domains. There may be restriction on some of the domain names. However, most of the domains are openly available for example, .edu domain are available only to those educational institutions which are registered in USA. So if you cannot directly register this domain. And also some country level domains, I think .jordan or .jo, all these domains, they need some proof of identity that you are a resident of that country, then only they will give you a domain name. So all other domains are freely available, and based on your requirement you can buy a domain. And also the pricing for each domain will differ. For example, .com you will get it for around $14. Same way you will get for example .ae you will get it for $150 dirhams, or I think around $51. So there are different pricing for the different extensions. So we call it as extension, or the technical is called a top level domain. Now let's come to the second level domain. Second level domain means you can use any alphabets to register a domain, including hyphen. Only special character hyphen is allowed. Hyphen means minus sign is allowed when you register a domain. So once you have a domain, first you need to make sure it is available. That I'll explain in the next slide. Okay, so this is your domain, and the first, that's called second level. This is the actual name of your website. Okay, yahoo.com, google.com, all this Yahoo, Google is called second level domain. And in that again there is something called third level domain. For example, www or mail.yahoo.com or mail.google.com or news.google.com. All these, the first part is called third level domain, or in other ways called subdomains. So these are the main three parts of a domain name. Now let's discuss how to choose a domain. So first thing, you decide a domain name, what exactly is required for you, your business name or your hobby or your name. Then secondly, you decide the extension, which TLD you want to go for. You want to go for commercial or com, .net, .org or .ae, .india, .in. So first you decide the extension. Now third one, you make sure it is a meaningful name, easy to remember, easy to convey. Don't make it so much complicated. In the same way, you don't try to make it complicated, short and with no meaning. So make it a meaningful, shortest possible domain name. Then once you thought of a domain name, now you go make sure that name is not violating any of those trademarks or someone else patents. And then you search for that availability of the domain name. For example, if you want to search for a domain, go to digicsonline.com and search for the desired domain name. System will show all the available domain names along with some suggestions. So select one which suits your needs. If required, you select multiple domain names which represent the same entity to avoid any conflicts in the future. For example, you find a domain name of your business which has .com and also .net, .org is available, so select that also, so no one else will register it and give a competition for you. So okay, so let me show you how we can register domain. Just go to this digixonline.com. So you put the name. Okay, here in the first page there is something called search for domain. So this part will show you like what is the pricing for each domain, and also you can, if you want to explore the pricing, you can go to view pricing. It will show all those TLDs available and their pricing for registration. .net, .actor, adder, what all these domains are available for acquiring for you. This is the extensions. Okay, now for registering a domain, just go here first. Okay, first search for it. Okay, you put whatever. For example, now I want to try search for my name, haneefputtur.com. okay, let's search for it. So this system will search and make sure it will give a report whether it's available or not. haneefputtur.com is not available because I already registered it. Okay, now it suggests me that these domains are available, I can get it. Okay, for example, haneefputtur.club, I can get it for $18, or .org available for $16. All these pricings are available here. And also sometimes you see it will give some other domains also, some premium domains also if you want. Okay, so for example, this vanhan.com, someone put it for sale for $299, but the first time the price will be $299, but from the second year renewals will be from $12.99. So these are the suggestions it is providing. Okay, so whenever someone already registered it and you want to sell it, then it will show as a premium domain. Okay, so premium domains are short popular phrases users often search for. Investing in a premium domain can help generate more traffic for your business. This is the definition from Digix Online. Okay, so once you select a domain, you just select it. Okay, then the system will, like, for example, I want to haneefputtur.club, so it's asking me if you want to book the other two also. If you want, you can book it, or if you don't want, you can just check it out. Okay, then it will ask you, do you want hosting or anything? So you just say no, I don't need, then proceed checkout. Then it will ask you for this is the domain name and the prices and everything. And if you don't have an account, you can create an account here. But if you already have an account, you can put your account username and password and sign in. Once you log in, it will ask you to make the payment. After making the payment, the domain will be registered in your name actually. Okay, so this is how to find availability and register actually. So I have explained how to register the domain. Okay, now let's go on. Now you already have a domain. For example, you found a good domain name for your business, but this is not available. You want to find the owner of that domain. So we call it as a technically you call it as a WHOIS service. So this service is available in any of the domain register service providers. You just go to their whoever selling domain, they will have some link called WHOIS lookup. So you can go there and you can put the domain name which you want to explore more about. For example, let's go and try for the. So basically it will give you the registration date of the domain and expiry date, and who registered it entity, and also the contact person of that domain name, provided they not enable the privacy protect service, and also the name service. Name server means the where website this website is hosted, which you like. I explore more about this name servers in the next tutorial. In between I forgot something about like privacy protect in my previous slide. There is some, when you purchase a domain, so the contact information of the owner will be available for the public to see it. Sometimes you don't want to give this one to show your information to the public. You can hide it by using a service called privacy protect. So when you buy a domain name, they'll ask you, do you want to enable privacy protect? So if you enable it, they'll charge you around $4 per month per year, and they'll hide your contact information from the WHOIS service. Only the public will be able to see when is the starting date and when is the expire date. Other than that, all the ownership details will be masked. Okay, this is a paid service. Okay, So let's go. We are discussing about the WHOIS service. So let me show you how WHOIS service work actually. So we'll just go to the registeronline.com, and there is, if you go to this page, in every register they will have an option called WHOIS lookup. You see, you can see it here. And if you go, it will ask you what is the domain name you want to find more information. For example, I'll put haneefputtur.com. When I click search, it will find in the server what are the details available for this domain. For example, this is the domain name we searched, and it will says from where it received this information of this whatever is providing here, and also the register from where this domain was registered. Okay, public domain registry.com. Okay. Now when it was created, so this says it's created on 8th October 2007. This will mainly helpful for understanding the age of a domain, because the more the value of the domain depends on the age of the domain. For example, you are using a domain from last 20 years, means it is most popular domain or a little high value domain when you are selling it. Okay, now this is the expiry date. So this domain currently registered up to 8th October 2018. So he has to renew it before that actually. If you don't renew, then it will follow another cycle, and anyone after around 50 days anyone will be able to register it in their own name. Okay, so it will provide all this information, and also it will provide who is registered, what is the owner of registrant name and everything, and also the location of the person, and also it will show the registrant's email address of the domain owner. So it's my email ID here. And also it will provide you another critical information called name servers, which will I explore in my next tutorial, where this will give more details where this website is hosted and which name server, all these details, which server. So I'll explain this one in my next tutorial. Okay, so this is about finding a ownership of a domain, who is the owner and everything. For example, you purchase a domain, you always make sure that your name is registered, is showing your name, and also the valid expiry and registered date. This is very important, and it is legally required also for you to be a owner of your website. Okay. Next, what a domain can be used as an investment. For example, if you find some very good meaningful domain, you can buy it, and also later you can sell it for a better price. For example, Facebook acquired fb.com. I think they paid around 25 millions or something like that around. Same way insurance.com, where they acquired it for very high price. Usually the domains which are meaningful, which are short, are called premium domains. This value of these premium domains will start from $10 to millions of dollars. So if you find any good domains in internet, just book it for yourself and keep it, and after years you can sell it for a better pricing. And also if you want to sell your domain, for example, you already have a domain, you want to sell it to someone, so what you can do is just go to this website. I will show you this auctions.godaddy.com. In this you will see what is the current price. For example, there is a website called netgrid.com. You want to sell it for 91,450 dirhams. So you can put it for auction. Okay, you see, for example, there is one website intersect.com. He is asking $49,000 dirhams. Okay. So these are the pricing for the premium domains, and also you can bid it, or you can sell, you can put it for sale, and all these provisions are available. So this website auctions.godaddy.com will give you some information, idea, like what is the price of a domain. So you can see what is the values and all. You see I think if you sort it, it may provide you. See, there is a domain for 49,000 dirhams. Someone is asking. Maybe he purchased for $8, and now you see the price. So this is a very good investment if you are smart enough. But make sure it has a good short, you see all these short names, meaningful. See, for example, here one is starttime.com. So I also hold some of premium domains. I put it for sale. Hopefully one day I'll sell it and make some money out of it. So this is about I explained about how to make money from the domain. Now let's explain I'll explore a little about the life cycle of a domain. Once any unregistered domains are available for anyone to register on the internet. Once it is available, then step 2 is anyone can register it. If you register it, For example, imagine 1 year or 2 year or 3 year. Until the span of that registration, that will be your property, and if someone want it, they should pay and acquire from you. This is where usually some register for as an investment, some register for their business purpose. Now once you register, until the valid expiry date of the domain, it will be yours. Once it is expired, from there that day you have 40 days for renewal grace period. So within these 40 days, if you renew, you will get it for the actual whatever the renewal cost. Just need to pay the renewal cost, it will be yours, you can get it back. Now after this 40 days, if you don't renew it, there is another phase called redemption period, redemption grace period, RGP. In this they will give another 30 days for you, where you can pay some additional amount, like usually they charge it $300 to $500 depending on the extension. If you pay that much, then they will be able to restore the domain back to you. So first 40 days it is free, you don't need to pay any extra, only renewal charge you have to pay. And after 40 days, for the next 30 days, you will be in a position to get it back by paying the redemption charge. So it will come around $400 to $500. Still, if you don't renew it, after 70 days of expiry, this domain status will be marked for pending deletion. This period is usually from 5 to 7 days, and if you don't within these 5 to 7 days, it will be released by the registry, and anyone, whoever goes first, will be able to get it back. The moment it is deleted, anyone will be able to acquire it back. So this is the life cycle of a domain. So I always recommend, if you have hold a business domain, make sure you renew it at least 15 to 30 days in advance to avoid any issues. Okay, so these are the important notes you should consider when you own a domain. First, make sure you have the username and password of the domain control panel. Most of the time we just get the domain from someone, we forget to keep these details. This is very important piece of information. Just keep a record of your domain username and password. Secondly, make sure the domain is locked for any unauthorized transfer. Now this domain is safeguarded by one username and password. If anyone hack your username password, then you may lose this domain. So always make sure there is something called domain locking, you enable that. Make sure the domain WHOIS record shows updated information about you, so that you are the owner of the domain, unless you opted for the privacy protect service. And always renew your domain at least 15 days in advance. And also keep it in mind, you can renew your domain from the person you purchased the domain. And if you have a control panel access, then you will be able to transfer this domain to another register and renew it. If you don't hold the domain control panel and your domain register vanished, means you will not be able to renew this domain until it got deletion and you get back again. So it will take another 3-4 months actually. So to avoid all these conflicts, always make sure you have the username and password of the domain, and also you only deal with the repeated domain vendors to avoid any issues during renewals. Now for example, you are not happy with your current register. What you can do for transferring a domain from one register to another register? So you need to make sure of this following. First thing, you need to get the EPP or domain authorization code from the previous register. Then just unlock the domain status so that you are free to move it to another register. And also make sure the WHOIS search is showing exact your email address and password of the registered owner. If you enable privacy protect, you need to disable it before you go for a domain transfer process. Okay, and make sure the domain is valid for at least 15 days before you initiate a transfer. So once you have this information, okay, then you can go for a transfer steps. So first you log into the registrar website, create your account, select a transfer domain. When you click transfer domain, it will ask for two parameters. One is domain name and the domain authorization key. Once you provide the domain authorization key and submit, and once you make the payment, immediately the system will send a approval link to the current owner of the domain. Whoever is the current owner in WHOIS, he will receive an email saying that someone want to transfer this domain to another registrar. Approve it. If we approve, then this next step is it will go to the current registrar for another approval. Current registrar, sometime he will just try to convince why you are moving, we are good, we will give you some offers, stay with us. And again, it's up to you to accept it or reject it. If you accept it, you can cancel the transfer, and there is a 5 days of time for you to cancel the request. And within these 5 days, if you don't cancel the request and the registrar is agreed to go away, then the domain will be moved to the new registrar. For example, if the domain is valid up to next June, and if you want to transfer it into Digix hosting, for example, okay, when you transfer it, after a successful transfer, what happens is whatever expiry date you have, our system will add 1 year to that expiry date. For example, your domain is already valid up to June and you transfer to our server in January, then the new renewal date for your domain, the new expiry date is June of next year. Means it will add 1 year from the current renewal, and it will add the previous 6 months whatever is pending to the expiry date. So you will not lose any expiry period when you transfer a domain. So I'll show you how to transfer a domain. So just go to our website, then there is something called transfer your domain. Okay, then it will ask you for the domain name, okay, like whatever domain you want. Okay, then select extension. Okay, then you should put the transfer authorization code here. It will be some digits like this. Then you click transfer. Once you transfer, it will ask you for the payment. So once you make the payment, it will follow the process which I explained here. This is like I explained about the domain and their various services, how you can transfer a domain, how to select a domain, how many years you can also extend renew a domain for many up to 6 to 10 years. Actually, .com domains can be registered for 10 years. So if you are planning for a long this one, you can register up to 10 years. Hope you enjoyed this presentation, and if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to ask me in my blog or